Flops are always a disaster for any studio, but every now and then, the stars tend to align. How did Beverly Hills Chihuahua land 2 sequels? Can horror movies become major franchises? Were people actually going to see a Jeremy Renner-led reboot? Here are some major movies that should have bombed, but instead struck box office gold. Robert Zemeckis, not yet an Oscar-winning director, had just directed a less successful comedy called Used Cars. Despite this, Universal took a risk and made a special effects-driven comedy, even replacing the lead actor. The film had a budget of $19 million and made $388.8 million at the box office. People love this movie, I couldn't tell you why. It cost $400,000, which seems about 100,000 times more expensive than you'd expect for a movie that looks like it was shot on a DV camcorder. And after every high school kid who yearned for awkward comedy caught wind of it, it exploded and turned that $400,000 into a cool $46 million. Budget, $400,000. Box office, $46.1 million. The reason every horror movie is designed to create a new franchise these days? It's probably Saw, which was revolutionary for the genre in about 100 different ways, and probably had a hand in the escape room boom. That Cary Elwes never let me down. Budget, $1.20 million. Box office, $103.9 million. This box office information is potentially the best piece of movie trivia I have ever heard. The family comedy starring George Lopez as the voice of a Chihuahua slaughtered at the box office, pulling in almost $150 million over a $20 million budget. Budget, $20 million. Box office, $149.30 million. For more fun entertainment stories, please sign up for our free newsletters. You remember this movie? Of course you don't. Doesn't matter, it still made over $300 million. Budget, $80 million. Box office, $340 million. Related, the 50 worst movies of all time, according to critics. Before Rawson Marshall Thurber, the name of a real human being, made action movies like Skyscraper and Red Notice, he made Dodgeball. Even for a Ben Stiller-led comedy, $140 million in profit isn't bad. I myself saw this movie 4 times in theaters, which is a personal record. Sounds like absolute lunacy when you say it out loud now. Budget, $20 million. Box office, $168.4 million. Jaws was over budget, delayed, and had on-set changes to the shark, but it became the first blockbuster and revolutionized Hollywood genre movies. It's also responsible for the famous quote about Mark Zuckerberg. Budget, $9 million. Box office, $476.5 million. If you weren't 14 in 2003, you can't understand the excitement surrounding the first Pirates movie. Despite Johnny Depp's reputation for eccentric roles, the film was a sensation and revived the pirate genre. It is still considered one of the greatest adventure films ever made, earning $654.3 million at the box office with a budget of $140 million. The circus surrounding the most expensive movie ever made was rough, and it seemed like nothing could live up to the build-up. Apparently it did, because it obliterated every box office record in history. It also seemed to set a precedent for James Cameron thinking it was acceptable to exclusively make 3-hour movies. Budget, $200 million. Box office, $2.202 billion. Renner, baby, people love Renner. Heck, I'll come out and say that I too love that dude. There's no way anybody expected this movie to be any good, what with America's favorite punching bag as the lead, but it weirdly was. Despite his significant win at the box office, we never heard from Jeremy Bourne again. Budget, $125 million. Box office, $276.1 million. A foreign film? About martial arts? With fantasy elements? The 10 Oscar nominations speak for themselves. The hype was real. Budget, $17 million. Box office, $213.5 million. It's a pretty famous story by now, but George Lucas's cinematic icon ran far over budget, underwent tons of rewrites, and focused on a genre so niche that even the cast and crew were nervous nobody would see it. They were wrong, obviously. Nobody will ever rock a striped sweater like 1977 George Lucas. Budget, $11 million. Box office, $775.8 million. The Blair Witch Project was a low-budget indie film that became a sensation, earning the title of the scariest movie ever made. It pioneered the found footage genre and remains unmatched by most films in that category. Despite its original budget of $60,000, with additional post-production expenses, the film grossed $145 million at the box office. 13 cheap pets that are easy to take care of. 40 meals under 100 calories per serving. Costco Business Center, locations, FAQs, and why you should shop here. Is Spirit Airlines safe, and why is it so cheap? These are the 7 cheapest fast food joints to try right now. Like Cheapism's content? Be sure to follow us.